Hello everyone, my name is Joyce McTeer and I am going to be your host for today's video. Today y'all, I'm going to be speaking on wire and why it is so important for you all to do your research on the wire that you choose to use when you are making and creating things. I get a lot of comments from time to time where people ask me, what's the best wire to use? What gauge of wire should I be using? I'm new to wire. Can you tell me some things about wire? It is so many different types of wire. Copper wire, sterling silver wire, aluminum wire, tarnish resistant wire. I can go on and on and on with the many different types of wire. There are many different gauges of wire. You start from 6 to 22. The smaller the number, the thicker the gauge. The higher the number, the smaller the gauge. And that is something that a lot of us really don't know that. We don't know that we have to use a certain type of gauge of wire to achieve that look that we want for our jewelry. And when I first started making jewelry, I'm gonna say about 18 or 19 years ago. When I first started, I don't even know if YouTube was out. YouTube may have been out. I didn't really know what to do, who to talk to. Everything I pretty much learned, y'all, I learned on my own. Went to the store and I started buying things, but I started getting familiar with my wire. And that's the one thing that you want to do. You want to get familiar with your wire. You also want to do research on the wire that you choose, okay? Everything as far as wire and making things may not be comfortable. Like some people, when it comes to sterling silver is a more expensive wire because of what it is made of the components that it is made of. You have copper. Copper is a good choice of wire. I use aluminum wire because of the people that come to my platform for my videos. I do a lot of DIY videos showing y'all how to make a jewelry design technique. Reason why I choose aluminum wire is so that, for one, it's cost effective. That it's not that expensive. And when you are first starting out learning how to make and create things with wire, that's a better choice to do, because if you go out and you buy real expensive wire like sterling silver and copper, you do that even with gold plated and 14 karat gold wire. If you go out and you buy all that stuff that's expensive, it takes time to really critique your work. It's going to take time for you to really master that thing that you're trying to do. So if you go out and you spend money on real expensive sterling silver wire, and you go out and you start off with that type of wire, you're going to mess it up. When you're learning how to do this wire wrapping, you make a lot of mistakes. So before you go out, make a conscious decision to start wire wrapping, do your research. You're going to have a million videos here on YouTube, and everybody on YouTube is going to tell you something different. Do your own research. Look it up, read the components, read what your wire is made of, and then take it from there. Start off with something that's you are not going to spend a lot of money in the beginning. Now, once you start mastering your craft and you start really becoming really good with making your items, then you step up. Then you can go ahead and you can buy the more expensive wire to make your jewelry. Gemstones to wrap your jewelry in, you're gonna have to charge a different price than you would if you was using copper or aluminum or tarnish resistant wire. So I just wanted to come to y'all really quick, and I'm actually going to show you some of the different brands that you can use when you are wire wrapping. This video pretty much is for those of you who are new, because there's a lot of people who are already doing it. So I'm going to take this time now to show y'all some of the different wires that I have, some of the different wires that I use to wire wrap. Okay, y'all, so basically I use a variety of many different wires to pretty much do what I want to do. Now, I don't have any sterling silver wire on hand. My sterling silver wire I do buy. I get it from Amazon, and I buy it in increments of 5 feet. That wire, once I get it, I use my sterling silver wire when I buy it. I use it to make my fish hooks when I use aluminum wire. A lot of different companies that sell aluminum wire, and this is one of them. Now you have to pick and choose which wire or which company or brand that is better suited for you to use, okay? So this here is 12 gauge. And I did make a video not too long ago telling y'all to buy 9 gauge. Now I'm gonna say this because I should have specified this, and this is for those of you who are new at wire wrapping. This is harder to work with. This right here is 9 gauge, okay? And this is harder, much harder to work with than if you were using 12 gauge. Because for one, it's thicker, okay? And 12 gauge is so much easier. And this is for those of you who are just beginning. Now, if you are not a beginner and you've been doing wire wrapping for quite some time, go and get yourself some 10 and 9 gauge wire, aluminum wire, okay? Now, I can show y'all some different things that I do make using this 9 gauge wire. Now, this is a design that I have created. Now, the thing about aluminum wire does not tarnish, okay? Now, this is all new as far as the gauge for me. I've been working with aluminum wire for years, but this is 9 gauge. Now, it gives your piece really personality. Okay, it gives that piece the depth that you want it to have, and it gives it personality. Okay, I may not be saying that word correct, but all right. And you can do and make so many different types of designs using this wire. Okay, now the next wire that I do use is I use this artistic wire right here. This is 18 gauge. I use this wire for wrapping projects or when I make my lock jewelry, because I do make a lot of lock jewelry. And when I make my lock jewelry, a lot of times I will use it. Now this is tarnish resistant brass wire. Okay, so this is brass wire, and I get it in these little tubes. This is 4 yards, but I also get it in this right here. Now this has lately becoming harder and harder to find. They used to have a lot of this at Micheals. Now I mainly get this from Micheals because Joann Fabric doesn't sell this, and I don't know if Hobby Lobby sells this. But this here, you get, this is 20 gauge, this is 18 gauge, and you get 78.8 feet. So you get a whole lot of this for like $8 or $10, depending on which, because sometimes some Micheals, the prices be different, okay? Sometimes, depending on, it just depends, okay? So, all right, I get this wire, and I use this wire basically most of the time for my wire wrapping. Now these I get from online from Amazon, and this is just for me to have a backup, okay? If I run out of this, I got this, that's my backup. I also use this wire right here, and this is some bead smith wire. This has a hole in it, but this is 16 gauge, and I use this for projects because the thing that I love about the 16 gauge wire is that this is tarnish resistant, meaning that it's not supposed to tarnish. And pretty much with 16 gauge wire, once you bend it and mold it, it will stay in place. Okay, so 16 gauge and 14 gauge definitely, all right, will stay in place. And it's not a thicker wire, it's a much thinner wire, okay? Now the last wire I'm gonna show y'all, and I believe I've showed y'all this before. This is my copper wire. And this wire I get from Amazon, okay? So this is 18 gauge. And you get, I don't know how much is on here, but you get a lot. A lot. Okay, you get a lot. I think it's like 20 something dollars, but you get a whole lot. And I get this from Amazon. Now, basically, what I want to say to y'all is before you make a decision to do any wire wrapping or anything concerning wire, please make sure that you do your homework first. It is your responsibility as a jewelry designer to really know the wire, your wires, because sometimes you may have a customer that may ask you about, I get people all the time asking me about aluminum wire. They ask me, will it break them out? Will it tarnish? Will it, and you have to be responsible when it comes to that, to be able to answer those questions without hesitating and saying, I'm really not sure, I don't know. It's your responsibility, okay? So I did this video and I hope that I have helped as much as possible. But this, like I said, this video is for those of you who are just getting started with your wire. This may be the first time that you wanted to do some wire, or you wanted to use wire to do a different project. And so I'm hoping that I help. Now, like I said, there are so many more other wires. They have it in all different colors. So many more different wires that you can buy. But just do your homework first, okay? And make a conscious decision. And when you find something that you like, sometimes, stick with it. Because the one thing that I don't do is I pretty much stick with the things. Because sometimes if you spend a lot of money and you go buy a wire that's cheap, like if you see it and you get it and it's cheap and you bought it, a lot of times with me, this is just what goes on with me. I get the wire and it's a big disappointment because it fades. And see, you have to also use the wire and make things just to see how it's going to last. How it's going to, and wear the jewelry, like wear your jewelry when you make it and you create it, okay? I want to take this time to say thank y'all so very much for tuning in for this here video. I know it was quite long, but I wanted to put this information out there because I get so many questions all the time. People asking me different things, okay? So with that being said, if you like this here video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, a like, and a share. And if you like what I do here on this platform, please subscribe to the channel so that when I upload more videos, you will definitely be notified. Once again, I want to take this time to say thank y'all so much for watching. And until my next upload, my beloved kings and queens, peace and blessings. See ya.